Welcome to another episode of Easy Coding for Beginners. As always, my name is Samuel and I'm glad that you've joined us in a new episode. Remember, we talked about the HTML tag, one of those fast episodes. If you've been an avid viewer, we talked about the HTML tag. Now, there's a tag that is always written, just an opening tag. It doesn't have an end tag. That is always written just before the HTML tag, and it's called the DOCTYPE tag, which is basically used to declare document types, in this case HTML. So in essence, DOCTYPE is always referred to as the document type declaration tag, or DTD in short. I'm sure you've come across the acronym DTD, and these will be very important when it comes to the DOCTYPE tag. Now in HTML4, when we're doing HTML4, right now, as I told you in the concept video, we are dealing with HTML5. But when people are coding in HTML4, there was no set standard for browsers to render HTML in their browsers. So most coders would actually code based on specific browsers. So if probably you're good in Mozilla, if you used Mozilla Firefox, you'd actually code your HTML document and render it in your Mozilla Firefox browser. But sometimes you'd find a challenge viewing the same HTML document in, for example, Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. I'm sure you found, for those people who are kind of experienced kidogo, I'm sure you found that challenge before when people are using HTML4. So there was no set standard, but now recently, World Wide Web Consortium, it's a body that actually is responsible for anything that happens within the World Wide Web, sat down and came up with standards which have been implemented from HTML5 onwards. So if you're using HTML5, the DOCTYPE declaration basically is not that important as it was in HTML4. So for those people who want to know more about this DOCTYPE history, you can actually just go online and Google how DOCTYPE, how declaration of the HTML version using the DOCTYPE came about, and you learn all those different document type declarations. For beginners, remember there's the strict document type declaration, there's the transitional document type declaration, and there's the frame set type document type declaration for HTML4. But in HTML5, you don't need to define those three. You just write DOCTYPE HTML and that's it. So let's go to the practicals. In your HTML document, remember we're still dealing with my first HTML project.html. If you can see my screen, it's actually split into two. The Sublime editor and the browser. By now I know you know how to navigate between those two and also your XAMPP server. If you don't know, go to our previous episodes and learn. So how do you declare it? Remember when we started I said it has to be above the HTML tag that we dealt with before. So just before the HTML tag, I want you to go and type less than sign, as you can see on my screen. Just type less than sign, full colon, then in capital letters, or you can even do in small letters, but I prefer doing it in capital letters, type the word DOCTYPE, that's DOCTYPE, DOCTYPE, then space. Since we are going to focus on HTML5, we don't need to declare using the strict transitional frame set document type declarations. So you'll just type less than sign, exclamation mark, DOCTYPE, then space, HTML, then greater than sign. With that, it does not have a closing tag. With that, you've already declared that this document you're using is going to have like version 5, HTML version 5, is going to use HTML version 5. So with that, I'm sure you've understood. For those people who've not yet understood, you can still go and do more research on the document type declarations and how they were applied before. But as I've said, in HTML5, that we already have the set standards by the W3C, so you don't need really to define or declare what document type you're using. So with that, I hope you've understood one or two things in this particular episode, and until next time, kudos!